I'll come back to you. And we'll breathe. Okay, let's see here. Oh my God. Okay, that's silence. Great. It's working. Back on Zoom. Okay. Let's take 3 deep breaths. So excited to spend this time with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for following up and saying, let's do this thing. So yeah, so I'm Heather. This is Jeanette. And Jeanette, however you'd like to introduce yourself, as if we were, in front of our little group or whatever, how would you like to introduce yourself? Who's Jeanette?
Well, so I have a lot of experience in shamanic healing. Since 2002, I've been studying with shamans, and I myself have had a lot of cancer, and especially this past year has been really traumatic. And I did some chemotherapy, which really destroyed my body, and so um, I really thought I was dying. So I started to write a book about conscious dying, and I um, just sort of following my life as it went down the drain. And um, and then I started to feel better. I actually went to this wonderful acupuncturist who helped me to start to feel better, and I realized I still had a lot of living to do. And even though I still have cancer, it seems to be indolent, which is a term that a friend shared with me not too long ago, which means present but not causing harm. And so I'm sort of thinking of this cancer experience as being indolent, and I'm learning about it. And at the same time, I really want to continue to do what I've done for 20 years or so, which is my shamanic healing practice, and tarot readings, things of that nature that I have found a lot of pleasure in. So I guess that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I'm over here like I hope it's not distracting that I'm wiggling a lot, but I have a lot of like excitement, shivers, and like, oh my God, this is so cool kind of stuff happening. So I'm just letting it out. And hopefully it's not distracting. I take notes. It's not that I'm ignoring you. I'm like, I have to remember. So yeah, it was beautiful, Jeanette. Thank you.
Mhm.
Can you tell me again the name of the book that you're writing?
Well, so the book that I was writing was Conscious Living, Conscious Dying.
Mm-hmm.
And but since I've been starting to feel so much better, I'm really changing that. And now I'm writing two books, and one is just uh, um sort of a journal of what this process has been like for me,
Mm-hmm.
which I just gave you a synopsis of.
Mm-hmm.
And and then my second book is actually going to be on chakra balancing, because one of the things that I did do while I was still pretty much bedbound was I started to do chakra balancing. Um, and it was a class that I taught many years ago, many times. I've taught the class, and I encouraged people to do this exercise, and I realized, oh my, I need this exercise. And so I think it's an exercise and information that would be helpful to people, especially people who really can't do much else, like can't get out of bed, for instance. um, to do that exercise really adds life force.
Mhm. Oh my God. Okay. So I'm noticing myself getting so excited that if I don't put like time, like to time boundaries, I will let us just explode in all directions. So like this
Okay.
Corinne's painting. So I'm gonna start for 5 minutes. It's really helpful to kind of check in at that point each every so often, just to make sure, because because you're so interesting and I'm so excited, I have to stay focused. So yeah, about every 5 minutes, if we check in, we'll be like, okay, yeah, this is what we want to still talk about, and this we can maybe come back to sometime.
Okay.
So yeah, sound good. So starting that now. And at one point you said, wasn't the subtitle on the book, but I'm not dead yet? Or is that the name
Yes.
of the journal? Or
Yes, that's the name of the journal. I'm not dead yet.
mm, okay. Okay, I love it. I love it. Okay. Okay. Amazing. So excited about that. So
Uh-oh. Where did you go? Uh-oh. I know I didn't do it. Hello?
hey, I'm sorry. I don't know why that dropped. It still says it's streaming. So
Okay.
hopefully it might be on my Wi-Fi is split. I'm sure we'll get the nuts. And so yeah, hopefully it's just hold on, one quick check. Hmm. Well, we'll see. I'm gonna trust I'm gonna trust divine, uh you know, what's meant to happen is what's gonna happen. If there's difficulties I discover later, well, then that just means talk again.
So you seem to be freezing and uh
Okay.
yeah, I'm not hearing you very clearly at times.
Okay, that is a bummer. Um, you have been clear so far. Um, do you feel like we could continue, or because I have an idea for a strategy, or do you want to start over and see if I don't know why my Wi-Fi is weak. I guess I can, let me check one thing. I'm Okay, are you there? Oh, I see you. Okay, sorry. I probably just froze again.
Yeah.
So, is it so bad that it's just not good enough to continue, or do you feel like you could raise your hand and I could stop speaking momentarily and see if it comes back? What do you think?
I could probably just raise my hand when
Okay.
when you freeze. Is that what you're talking about? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, yeah, because then I can pause and take a deep breath and,
Okay.
then I'll speak again. You can hear me, because I see it kind of going like this. And I don't know why. Maybe I'm going to send a quick text to my housemate. I'm sorry this is taking time.
Oh, it's all right. This is your time. I have plenty
We
of
have these
time.
magic technical devices. Hmm? Cool.
Oh,
I have to leave at 1:30. I have an acupuncture appointment.
okay, good for you.
Mhm. Okay. Okay. Hopefully, you know how you're always worried that, like, is somebody going to read a tone here where there isn't one? So Okay, I'm gonna come back. Honestly, I do often see a connection between my energy and if it gets really scattered, stuff like the Wi-Fi starts to go wonky or my phone will stop working right or something like that. So could be that. Okay,
Well,
so
if you'd rather, we can do this another time too.
no, 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 I want
Okay.
to. Yeah,
Okay.
let's please continue unless it
All right.
becomes so unstable that we can't. So
Okay.
um yeah, so just so that I get back to where I kind of wanted to be, in like what you were sharing is these two books that you're writing. One was in that year where you're in actively consciously in the process of dying, and then as this shift, as you start to have this shift towards actually this cancer is indolent right now, and I am ready to live more. I'm still here. I'm not
Yeah.
dead yet. And so now you're just this really like direct journal that you're writing about the experience, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So how and then you also brought in the practices you've been doing for, and offering classes and things in for over 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like what is it that you're moving towards now that kind of brings all that together, and that you're going to be offering or you are offering already?
So what I'm offering is shamanic healing. And I have a certain, I don't know, technique or something that I've developed over the years. It's probably different than any other shamanic practitioner that people have been to, but it seems to work for me, and hopefully it works for others. It seems to work for others, and
Mhm.
and it's, I call it release and retrieval, and it's just in order to um release things that we're holding on to, like resentments and things that keep us from experiencing life fully. And then the retrieval is about when we're traumatized, we kind of leave a piece of ourselves behind as we pick up a defense for the trauma, so that we don't have to experience that trauma anymore. And so the retrieval is going back and picking up those pieces of ourselves that we leave behind, so that we can be more fully ourselves.
Amazing. Awesome. And so maybe in a concrete way, what would you like when somebody's going, wow, that sounds amazing, but I don't actually really know what it looks like yet. Like what would what does a session look like, or what would you tell a person who's considering scheduling with you? Uh,
Yeah.
what would you say?
Well, I often just describe what I am going to do,
Mhm.
and the first thing I do is tell people what release and retrieval
Mhm.
is, and how we tend to leave pieces of ourselves behind. And in common shamanic parlance, it would be a soul retrieval. But I don't know
Mhm.
if I like that word. So it's just retrieval of pieces of ourselves. So first I do a rattle journey,
Mhm.
where and I kind of guide people through through going into themselves and finding those places where they still have defenses and resentments and anger and things that are getting in their way. And then because it's important that they know what it is that they're releasing, and then they make a, a statement where they intend to release those things. And then and I anoint a little bit of oil on their heart chakra, on their high heart chakra, and I cleanse them with I have a cedar branch that's dipped in salt water, and we cleanse them, and then we do a drum journey where we go to find those pieces that were lost or that were left behind. And I lead people through that and through finding maybe a spirit guide or something like that to help them to go to those places. And then when those things are identified, then we just embrace them and integrate them, and ask them to come back. And then I anoint their feet with a little bit of oil to ground them and to ground this healing in place. And that's about it. A little bit of smudge.
Uh, it sounds really, really lovely. And I'm grateful that kind of where I'm at in my journey that I feel like I understand everything that you just said, and I was able to have like kind of an image in my mind of because I've had each of those pieces, I think, like individually. And so yeah, I think that's a piece of what I really love to see happen is when something that has always been thought of, oh, it's so woo-woo, there's no way that does anything. When we put it into just such like concrete, clear, confident terms that is understandable, like essentially by the layperson. Like you don't have to be hippy dippy and go to a bunch of workshops to understand what a drum journey might be, or what a rattle journey might be, or intentions, or you know um yeah. So I appreciate how concrete, and I think a piece, like an illustration of that is the way where you said soul retrieval is not really what I feel like is what I'm doing. It's a retrieval. It's just like just simply that. It could be, so I that simplification I think also is part of what makes it so much more accessible to a wider audience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the rattle and the drum are used to take the brain into a theta state. If that is helpful for people to hear, the theta state is a is a is a state of mind where you can access your right brain, and you can see and understand and hear the deeper yearnings of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, again, that's so clear. Thank you. So in a session, does the person receiving tend to talk a lot, or do they have to, I mean, or is it mostly you're guiding and they might, like you said, speak an intention or something, but mostly they're receiving?
Mostly they're receiving. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Because I think, what I've had, I can't even tell how many conversations I've had lately where somebody is expressing, I know I have stuff that needs to come up and out, like grief or a specific trauma, or a damaging belief. Like I know it needs to go. I just don't freaking know how to do it, and I don't fucking talk about it, and mm, you know. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've been starting to introduce this idea of, there are ways to um, kind of work through that where you don't have to figure it out, because
Right.
how are you going to figure it out? Like nobody, we didn't learn growing up, so you don't have to figure it out. And you don't have to think about it. It doesn't come into thinking. It's more like it's this I'm not saying integration, but I'm just telling people like it's got to get out of the thinking brain. You don't have to say a bunch of words. There's other things at work here. It's so much gentler. Like Reiki, for example, I keep experiencing the one
Mm-hmm.
retrieval that I participated in. The gal did call it a soul retrieval, but it was so beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that theta state. I usually don't remember what specific happened, but I always trust that it was super restorative, because my mind so rarely goes offline. So yeah, that all of that sounds really exciting to me.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it's more somatic healing. At least the way that I see shamanic healing is that um, it's the relationship of you and the earth,
Mhm.
and you and your body, which is the earth, and you and the universe, which is all of us. And so it's in the body, and it's somatic, and it's a feeling state rather than um, talk therapy.
Right. Right. Um, oh, and what I'm also, yeah, what I am appreciating so much too, like you've already brought up all like a bunch of different words, like where you're basically redefining them. So you're saying, okay, uh, yeah. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that tangent, but I'm just appreciating how you're defining some of these key terms, especially that ones that people might have already have a predetermined, like, you know, they already believe that soul retrieval means one thing, and so if they hear soul retrieval, that's not for me. Um, but redefining it, clarifying, this is how this is what how I come to like offering a retrieval. This is where I'm coming from. My intention, it's adjacent to what you might be imagining, or the shamanism, you
Right.
know, kind of clarifying what that is in a concrete way so that people can't be like, that's just like an ancient thing that you got to be living in the jungle to do. Everybody else is, culturally appropriating or whatever, you know.
Right.
Um, and yeah, and if I remember correctly, what you said is it's shamanism is the true like connection of every piece, the full integration of the connected like community. And
That's right. And
yeah,
the earth.
and
Hmm.
yeah, that's what I was doing. This is mycelium to me. I forget to say that
The
sometimes.
earth.
Yeah. The mushrooms in there. So okay. Let's see, I'm just tracking time a little bit. We're totally fine on time. Um uh so, okay, I also heard you make reference to like tarot and a couple other things, the chakra clearing. And so is it correct in thinking that like basically these are all different things that you can and do offer currently, but you're
That's
also
right.
saying this is stuff I have spent significant time and energy on. I've worked with it deeply, and now it's a piece of what I offer. Is that
Right.
yeah?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mostly I offer tarot readings at parties.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm planning on having a party on
Hmm.
March 9th, and I'm going to bring tarot cards and
Hmm.
give readings.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I'm excited to hear that. So you must have a pretty quick read you like to do if you're doing
Well,
it.
I always do the Celtic cross,
Oh.
and yeah, I always do that one, but because I think it tells a story.
Hmm.
It tells a story of where we are now, where we've been, where we're going, and how people are looking at us, who we are. I mean, it just sort of tells a whole story, and so I appreciate that.
But and I love that you do it in the context of a party because everybody there is going to recognize that they've all played a role. Their energy is infused in that particular reading, and so
Right.
I am sure that the it's like wow, that's accurate. It's like happening the whole time here. Um, you know,
Right.
telling
Yeah.
saying what the cards mean. So I'm excited.
I
Yeah.
used to go up to Brighton Bush and bring my cards and just sit in the
Mm-hmm.
living room there and just lay out the cards, and people would ask for readings. It was really
Mm-hmm.
fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, I bet. Yeah, I've always done like one-on-one readings or I don't know. Yeah, group. But anyway, that's amazing. I'm excited that you do that. Um, so let's see. Oh, did I set my timer again? So yeah, one of the things that I really like to know, because part of my vision of Scrappy Entrepreneur School is I'm allowing the process to be witnessed. I'm as it's like fresh and live and it just happened and unedited and whatever, like, why do I have to hold that back until, oh, my video editor spent time on it and then we've edited it, now it's this little package? Like, I think that's bullshit. And so I, just kind of like the process, I think, is beautiful. And everybody always says, trust the process, trust the process. But then they withhold whatever their thing is, their gift or their offering, until it's, on a silver platter. And then people are like, wow, where'd this come from? And
Right.
so, and people don't believe, like, the before and after photos are amazing, like this dramatic change. But I'm interested in that in between. Like, how'd you transition from, from like, wow, you couldn't get out of bed. And that's a whole nother like big topic that I don't think there's an appreciation for how many people live a I can't get out of bed today life. And the kind of things, the kind of I got a little off track, but I want to finish this thought. Like, the kind of strategies that you put to use to like surrender to that time and be like, well, there's something I can do. I can't get out of bed, but I can do a chakra clearing, and or I can whatever. Like, there's things you can do when you can't get out of bed. Um, like, I have a bunch of moments of nature videos where it's like, okay, you can't get out of bed, here's some nature for you. And they're just
Mhm.
quiet, you just hear nature, see nature. So there's, yeah, art of processing in particular has a lot of those. All right, so back to Scrappy Entrepreneur, the process. So as an entrepreneur, like, you're in a space where, okay, you have a clear offering, you're speaking about it, you're actively doing it, but you're not in that space yet of like, it supports all of my needs, and I am brimming over with abundance in every way and filled in every way. Like, that's not where we are yet. So yeah, how'd you like step into this? Where'd you how'd you step into this space where why am I having such a hard time clear? Let me start over. So inviting in the idea that you're in the middle of a process instead of towards the end. Um, what has that transition looked like for you? I mean, maybe instead of like for me saying I came from my professional career and this is how I transitioned into being, a full-time entrepreneur. I don't know if you would say this is how I transitioned from the year where I'm consciously dying to what I'm doing now. Like that process piece of how you're stepping into where you are now, where you came from. Does that make sense?
Well, I did do that process of you know changing from working for somebody else to becoming an entrepreneur, and I did that in 2010.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I started doing my healing practice full time. I rented space from a doctor, a naturopathic doctor up in Happy Valley, and thankfully the naturopaths and acupuncturists and others that were in that office sent me clients. And so I was able to have a full-time practice of doing that. And so when this all happened, and I gave that up, and really retired, I said, um, uh, I just sort of let it go. I let all of it go, and then when I started to feel better, I thought, well, I still am in touch with the the guidance that once guided me. I still know this stuff. Why don't I use it? I'm still alive. Why don't I just use it now? And so now I'm in the process of building as an entrepreneur again. And yeah, it was basically I have these skills, and I've done this before, and I can do this again. So that's how I got to here now.
Amazing. I think you might be one of the first folks that I've met who basically has come to the entrepreneurship twice in such a significantly different way. Like,
Right.
the whole leaving, working for somebody else, like that in itself is such a transition and a journey that many go through. But then again, then the significant illness where it's like, okay, that there's the tower moment, all that goes. Now, you know what? I'm going to do it again. Whereas a lot of people are like, I can't do it again. I lost everything. So I love that you're like, nah, I can do it again. I'm badass.
Right.
I've done it
Yeah,
before. I can do it again.
that's right.
It's exciting. It's exciting. Um, yeah. So where would you say you are right now? What's the stage you're in this like specific point in time?
Well, I'm offering the shamanic healing,
Mhm.
but I'm also planning to have some classes, and I have a meetup group, and I'm going to be offering some classes, which hopefully will lead into more of the shamanic healing, but also it will teach people how to be their own shaman, how to be their own guru, you know?
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on just a second. My phone is ringing. Oh, shoot, I'm sorry. It's my daughter, but I'm gonna. Damn it.
Go ahead.
Okay. It'll only take a moment.
That's all right. Go ahead.
Thanks. Okay. Hi, kiddo. How are you doing? I'm good. I definitely wanted to answer because I'm so excited to hear your voice, but I happen to be on a on a meeting on Zoom right now. Uh, okay. Okay, what is it? Yes, I can get that to you. I just got it a few days ago. Do me. Oh, uh-huh. Sure. What time are you thinking? Mm-hmm. Okay. You definitely could stop by if you want to come out here, but I do have an acupuncture appointment on Mississippi in a little while. So I'd be like a lot closer to Passys if you want to. Oh, okay. Oh, hello. Hey, hey. Okay, great. Yes, I will. Yes, I'm gonna look and I think it's between 3 and 5, but I have to double check. Yay. Okay. Great. Great. Okay. Talk to you soon. Bye. Okay. Yes. Very good answer. Thank you for helping me prioritize because I get like, you know,
You're doing well.
I was good. So I get to actually see her today, which is
Oh, good.
a big surprise. She was kind of did that like, well, I'm in Portland. Like, you never want your mom to know you're in town, but you didn't get to see her. But I've done that to my mom a number of times. Hold on, I need to open the window. I'm getting all hot. And I'll tell you that like what I do with these is as soon as I can, which would probably be within the next week, I'll go through and like identify the usable segments,
Right.
and I, and that, yeah, so that'll be like kind of there'll be these written in the chapters and the segments and things, and so that's when I'll give it to you, and we can do whatever we want with it at that point. It can be used however you like, but eventually my video editor will get to it and create the actual segments of standalone videos. So
Okay. Yeah,
with
I'm not worried
with
about
the
it.
yeah, cool. But I want, we're doing this so that we can share what you're doing and raise awareness. So we got to actually put it out there. So
Do it.
yeah, yeah. And what I think I'm going to start doing is the first place I'll put it is the Come As You Are Leaders group. It's just,
Yeah.
and then and my page and then whatever. But it one step at a time is what I'm trying to take everything, and that's the first one that I do, and it's ready. So
Right.
yeah, okay, coming back. Gonna set another 5-minute timer. Um, so we were just talking about, okay. You have stuff coming up that you're offering. And so would you be able to give me links to things so that people can follow up and I can put that in the description? Like how,
Um, okay.
or just have
The,
like,
the only link I really have is my email and my phone.
okay, well, yeah, just whatever.
I don't have a website anymore
Mhm.
or anything like
How
that.
will you be? Well, you do have, you said you have a meetup group, right?
I do have, yes, I do have a meetup group and people
Right.
can find me there.
Okay. Yeah. So just be sure to, send me the meetup group or
Okay.
yeah, when I don't know, however you're gonna promote the classes. If you don't have those set up yet, that's fine. But maybe when you do, make sure you bring my awareness to it so that
Okay.
that
Yeah,
can
for
be
sure.
done with it. Yeah. Cool. Okay. So do you want to share a little bit about what the classes will be, or is it online or in person, or do you want to share anything about that now, or is it still too much in the development stage?
Right. Well, the first set of classes I'm going to offer are going to be on the chakra clearing, chakra balancing.
Mhm.
And I will be zooming them as well as in person.
Mhm.
So,
Cool.
and yeah, so I'm going to be doing that because I think that that's really helpful. That'll, really get people going. But yeah, my main interest is to help people know that they can do all of this themselves. Um, when I was a cancer counselor for 16 years, and I did a lot of support groups with cancer patients, and um, you know, when we first have some kind of serious disease, we think that we're going to go to the doctor and it's going to get fixed there. And it really doesn't happen that way usually. And usually we have to take some kind of responsibility and do something for ourselves in order to actually get better. And so I've been a mind body therapist, and I've collected a lot of mind body techniques, a lot of breathing techniques, a lot of um, those kinds of things that we can do for ourselves, qigong, and um, just things that we can do for ourselves that we don't have to go and get somewhere else. And so those are the kinds of classes that I'm going to be offering.
Mhm. Yeah, that's so exciting because we're really moving away from that. I need experts to do anything, or I have to be an expert to tell anybody else how to do anything, and
Right.
that's been untrue forever. But it's just now we're finally going, oh, wait a minute. There's yeah. You're bringing it back. You're bringing back, like, I'm always keep coming to this thing of, I truly believe if we had grown up in circles with women and girls, like, the girls learn how to be respectful by they are quiet during circles and they witness and they listen and they learn, and then they ask their mom or their big sister afterwards like questions, and as they get older they like take a more active role in the circle, and like it's this whole process that for generations we've been completely severed from. And so I think that's why so often people now are like, oh, all that woo woo stuff is like stupid and it doesn't do anything. And, the people like, Dr. Joe Dispenza, whatever, it's all science. Or you saying like the chakra balancing played a significant role in my healing, like that's been made to be stupid and too woo woo to pay attention to. And it's one offs when somebody actually heals from it. But I think we're moving into like, oh no, it is a recognition that this is real and it's sort of been taken from us. And so it's time to reclaim it and redefine it if we must. And often I think we need to evolve. We can come from a place of ancient practice, but it needs to evolve to be practical and useful and understandable by us now, people now, instead of
Yes,
whenever.
and I know that I've learned from teachers, or I've sat and been taught by teachers who want to say, "Oh no, you have to meditate, 3 hours a day or whatever," and people just give up at that point because nobody has a whole bunch of time to spend doing stuff like that. But if I can give you a 10-minute exercise that you do right before you go to sleep at night. Oh, well, everybody has 10 minutes while they're falling asleep,
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
so that's really something that I think that I can offer is our quick exercises, breathing exercises that will take 5 minutes to do. Well, that's something that you can do, and it really will significantly help. And
Mhm.
so that's that's what I like to offer.
Yeah, and that makes it just that much better because we've become so bite-size oriented. But I think this is one of the places where bite-size is the best. Maybe,
Yeah.
snack size is a little bit more information, but again, if you were a kid growing up around your more mature adults, you would be learning from them the whole time, but you don't know why it works. You just listen and you do it.
Right.
And there's all so when you say, yeah, everybody has 10 minutes before they go to sleep. But as you know, like people are like, no, I don't, or I always forget. So then I feel like it becomes a discipline, an opportunity to introduce discipline with yourself and like make a commitment to yourself. Like, I'm going to spend this 10 minutes doing this thing that I know helps me. And, it can be a small way that people can rebuild that trust with themselves, and it put
Absolutely.
a habit into place that consistently supports them. You can keep coming back to it, but you got to make it a habit at least once.
Right. That's right.
Mhm.
And I make it really easy for people. So I have it all written out, but it's written out in first person. And so I encourage people to record it on their phones. And it's so now it's like a 5 to 10 minute recording, and they just plug their earbuds in and listen to it.
Mhm.
And so they're listening to their own voice
Mhm. Mhm.
as they're listening to their own voice telling them to move through their bodies in this certain way, and then they fall asleep.
Mhm.
Ta-da.
Yeah, the falling asleep, not only is that a super powerful time, but hearing it in your own voice
Mhm.
is, yeah, totally instrumental, I think, and definitely made a big difference for me when I started making recordings in my voice of affirmations or card readings or whatever it was, and then listening to it. I'm hearing my own voice. I'm not outsourcing that
Right.
reprogramming. It's beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Um, so we've kind of spoken about that transition time that you've done multiple times from a business as well as from healing from cancer. So we're um, so now let's see, kind of like to no, okay. So now my question is there anything else specific to your offerings that you would really want, someone to know? Especially if somebody has kind of listened to this and they're like, wow, that sounds really fucking cool. And I want to learn more. I want to do something. Like, what is the kind of sum up that you would want someone to hear?
Gosh. Well, I can say what my desire is. My desire is to build community.
Mm-hmm.
And my desire is to have a, because we all have gifts, we all have things that we can give and offer one another. And
Mm-hmm.
so when I get together with somebody, um it's not just me, implanting myself on them. It's me receiving them in all their glory as well. And so that's really my desire, is to build community by building relationships. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we are one, that we are actually united, that we really aren't separate as we have come to believe. And so I just open myself to that possibility of unity. And that's where what my healings are about, my classes are about, the everything that I want to do. And
Mhm.
even, I make greeting cards and I send greeting cards, and that's another thing that I do because I want to promote unity. I want to promote community.
Mhm. Mhm. And yeah, thank you for speaking to what your desire is, because that's actually the question that I forgot how to ask it. But the question I was trying to ask was, what is your vision? Like everything is exactly as you would want it to be. Like your heart is doing your heart's desire. What does that look like? And that's what you that's what you shared. And so that's beautiful. And I have been talking about this a couple of times, but Brian and I listened to a John Vervaeke video. I'll just share it. But it's he was speaking about agape love, and what you just shared about these gifts that we have to offer, and um, you know uh, kind of work being alongside people as they kind of regain all their glory, like step into their glory, like you basically just said in slightly different words exactly what John Vervaeke said about what agape is. And it's this building a community. It's returning to share your gifts, because at one time you were receiving the gifts of community, whether they were lovely ones or not, and now you're back to to do the other side of the agape love of giving, um, of yourself and of your genius and your glory to another, so that they can, like, oh, I do have that inside me too. I can keep stepping into that, and somebody believes in me, and there's, yeah. So excited. Do you want to say anything else about your greeting cards, or show them, because they're so pretty?
Well, I don't know if they would transfer very
Well, it
well
did. You
to.
yep, there you go. Yeah, it's really cute.
So these are the Valentines that I just sent out.
Mm-hmm.
But I also like to make like collage cards,
Mm-hmm. Gosh, that's so pretty.
and all of them say a little something,
Mm-hmm.
but they're all different.
Mm-hmm. They're so gorgeous. Yeah. And
Yeah.
so you've started sending them to people.
So I send about I send well I figure I send about 200 a year.
Awesome.
Um maybe more.
Mm-hmm.
And because I send at least 100 at Valentine's Day and 100 in the fall. I don't
Mm-hmm.
like to send them for Christmas because
You get
everybody's
lost in
sending
them.
Christmas cards, but but I send fall cards and Valentine's, and then but I send other cards throughout the year, just for encouragement and things like that for people.
And
I
we were
just
talking.
I
Go ahead.
like making them. I,
Mm-hmm.
I really like making them. So if you get a card for me, it probably has, 6 or 7 words written in it. Because I, yeah, I don't mind putting the stamp on it, but I really don't like the whole writing thing.
Well, you poured yourself into the making of the card, like not
Right.
all sharing is verbal, you know.
And that's right. And I mean, I do have to make a connection, an energetic connection when I write dear whoever. I make that energetic connection, and I just call that good.
Mm-hmm. But I have just been beside myself with excitement when and yeah, just sweetness when I've received cards from you, and um,
Good.
Brian too. So yeah, and we were talking about giving, like how we feel like, okay, mail needs to come back, like good mail needs to make a reappearance, as well as just this idea of sending thank you notes, sending I think you're cool notes, sending, like, so that it's not always just this special thing. It's only a few of your friends at Christmas, and maybe you get a couple at your birthday, but it's like, hey, I'm thinking of you. And
Mhm.
it's another, just like concrete way of connecting with someone from afar, And then in your case with your cards, they now have this little piece of art too. Like your cards end up on altars in my house because they're so beautiful and they have such a lovely message, and they fit on altars. They look nice on altars. So yeah, you're sending a little gift. And I especially love that you're not going to a store and spending money on something that someone else made and then you're putting a stamp on it. Like there's all of that, but instead you're like, I'm having a super awesome time making this thing, and I didn't pay $6, $7, $8 for this lovely piece of art, and now I'm sending moments of intention and thought to my friend.
Right.
It's just so much more magical. You need to send more mail.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's always nice to get something other than bills and junk in the mail.
Yeah, awesome.
Mhm.
um and I also love that idea that we were talking about of like trading cards, like I'm like, I'm gonna
Yeah.
make a bunch of watercolor cards, and then you have all these beautiful cards, and we can we're gonna encourage the folks who come to our little community support circle to like, take some home, but gotta mail it. you know
Yeah.
so I'm excited about that too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Okay, so in our let's see, it's 1:11.
Okay.
I love
Oh,
that.
that
Isn't it lovely?
they're right here with us no matter what we think.
Well, we
They're right
started at
here.
12:12, and then I
Yeah.
happened to look at 1:11. And yeah, I love it. Um, and now the crows are making a bunch of noise. It's cool. So in these, yeah, we have, a little bit more time, another 10 minutes or so. And I like to, in that time, maybe kind of talk about some, I don't know, kind of maybe not so businessy, like specific, but a little bit about us, like as humans. Like, for example, I like to see what kind of pants you're wearing because I'll show my pants. I got these cute little pants, these little leggings. So that's what I'm wearing.
I've got my gray pants with
Mhm.
my tights underneath it, and I got 4 pairs of these gray pants. And when I was working as a caregiver, which was, more recently, and it's my uniform. No, it's really boring, but my uniform.
Well, I honestly, I have a couple pairs of pants that they are my going out of the house pants, and I only have a few, and they're just like in every way the perfect pants. And so every time I have a moment, I'm looking, is there anything similar to these pants? Because I can't find them anywhere. And like last week, I finally found some. And they're a little different, but they're better. And I'm so in love with them. And I went back to the store yesterday to buy more, and they're gone.
Oh
and,
my gosh.
and so my heart's a little bit broken, but at least I have one pair. And yeah, anyway, the search for perfect pants it's a struggle sometimes. And so if you find one you like, stick with it, and
I really
it
like
works, it
these.
works.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Hmm. But I love leggings, like for when I'm just hanging out at home. And part of, oh, that's right, that's one of the things I wanted, that we've talked about, wanting to talk about before, is basically practical divine compensation. And so what I mean by that is, like, for example, in the past couple of weeks, I have experienced an extraordinarily expanded experience, like life, where basically my experience of life is hugely elevated by my surroundings, where I was being paid to stay in a 5,000 square foot home in Lake Oswego with a sweet dog. So there's that elevation. And then I went to the Soma Space Women's Swap, and I gave away a humongous bag, and I left with a little bag of treasures. And it was like $300 at least worth of high quality, lovely clothes that I got to have a fun experience and see friends and like get really nice stuff that I didn't spend money for. And so that's all like really concrete in my mind, elevation of my experience, that like I literally am estimating how much each piece of clothing would have been valued if I had purchased it. And I add that in to I have a sacred income budget where I literally put in like, this is what I received in clothes that I did not pay cash for. This is what I received in value if I had rented that house. like thousands of dollars of value that I did not have to go earn the cash to trade it for that thing. I just received it. So that's what I mean by practical divine compensation. And yeah, so I
I would
think
say
that's
for that you have to have a special mindset because you have to look at it as if you're receiving it, not as if you're working and dog sitting,
mm-hmm,
you know.
mm-hmm, right.
But so that's on you that
No,
you get divine compensation because you receive it that way.
mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, it's like it's a bonus that I get to hang out with a dog that I don't have to own forever. I get to like I learn from dogs. I get so much space to myself where I like having the best parts of living alone, but the best parts of having a partner that I live with that I can go home to him. But I get to experience this like learning who I am as a as a 51-year-old woman who for most of my life hasn't really even known who I am or
Right.
what I want, what I like, what I need, what is my authentic self. So spending all that time by myself and talking to the dog about it like really helps me.
Sure.
Yeah, it's like I treat it
For
like a
sure.
retreat. And
Yeah.
I yeah.
Good for you.
Thank you. Thank you. Are there ways in which that kind of thing is alive for you in your life? Like yeah, how do you
Well, yes, I wake up every day feeling like I think I've won the lottery.
Mhm.
And and I consider, actually playing the lottery at some point because it because I'm so fortunate to be here in this beautiful place with these beautiful cats
Mhm.
and my time is my own. I mean, I don't have to do any of this.
Mhm.
Um, I've not had that freedom before. And so yeah, I feel like I'm getting paid gloriously for
Mhm.
the life that I just get to live every day.
Yeah. Yeah, me absolutely, me too. Like absolutely. And I know that there's still I sometimes feel it and I know my mom, for example, or other folks who still like see I have to trade cash for the things I want. And that's a really deeply rooted like connection. And then on top of that, like I have to go earn the cash so that I can get the things I want. And that's what I find most expensive is the giving of my time to earn cash that I'm going to now trade for something that instead I could receive in some other way, in any other way. So that's one
Right.
piece. And the other piece is having sovereignty and discernment over your own time. I feel like that's part of the reason why so many of us, particularly neurodivergent folks, just cannot figure out like how to be in that system because we're not supposed to be. Like it's all fucking made up, but you
Yeah.
can kind of learn how to use the system to work for you. Like I know that's kind of a big broad topic, but I think that's part of what I bring with Scrappy Entrepreneur School is I literally came out of the woods at 18, dropped in Portland to go to college and had no fucking idea how to do anything. And I've been paid to learn, actually. I've gotten paid to learn almost, except for my college career. I've learned everything in a professional environment. And then I've gone away from it and practiced it for a number of years, like with my handyman service that I created so my ex-husband could keep a job. And then we employed a bunch of other people. Like I let the professional in like support me in my own creation. And now I'm like, you know what? Some might think somebody who makes $2,000 a month or so is like, how could you live on that? I'm like, I'm living in the high life, man,
That's
because
right.
my time is my own mostly. I'm not hustling for that $2,000 anymore either, which is a big shift for me. Um, and so, yeah, getting to choose, I need to sleep in today. I'm not going to go Lyft driving or, oh, I have this great opportunity. I don't, I can choose something else. So having that ability to flex and move and flow and do what I want. And I want to do art now. And and being surrounded by a community where you're like, you know what, can we be a little flexible today? I actually am feeling a little too to talk, and there's that understanding, and it's not like, well, that person's a flake. Like, it's not, it's not that. It's, we're all connected. And I would say 90% of the time when somebody wants to postpone something, I'm like, yeah, I love you. I want to talk to you. And I have that time set aside for you, but yeah, I have a free hour now,
Right. I get it.
and I'm not filling it with stupid shit, stupid work that someone else told me what and how to do. And it's dumb. And I'm like, this fucking busy work. Get it out of my face. So yeah, you just learn how to do the thing. And so I learned how to do the things in the system to stay legal on the edge, and just be like, you know what, I know some of the ways to get your needs met and get the government paying for some things that they should be. And you don't know that you can get these things paid for because you think that you can't, and you just don't know how to find out. Well, I found out, and I'm going to show you. Here's how you have a business. Here's how you get your tax write-offs. Here's how you stay above board, but not making it overly complicated. You can do the thing you want to do. You can do your give your gifts to the world and receive compensation for it. And I'm helping to fill that gap where I have a thing and I want to do it right, but I have no fucking idea how to do this shit. People shouldn't have to learn that on their own. We shouldn't
Right.
constantly be like, I have to learn how to do WordPress now. And then I got landing pages. Like,
Yeah.
but also, do I need a business license? Do I have to do taxes? Should I get it? Should I do an LLC? Like, all of that is so overwhelming to most that for, Scrappy Entrepreneur School to come in and go, look, I can, in the context of a paid training program of pet sitting or virtual assistant, I can teach you these concrete skills of how you can go out and you can make yourself some money, and you can do it in a legal and above board way without being crushed by the ridiculous system, instead having it work with and for you.
That is so good. That is so needed.
It is. Yes. I am a master of creating streams of income, and I absolutely can teach other people how to do it. So I'm
Wonderful.
excited for
Yeah.
me to bring my gifts too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about them.
Thank you. Yeah, it's coming together. Um, I guess I'm kind of in this space of, I've already done a lot. Like, I don't know if you saw, but in the leader group I posted, I finally went back and looked at my numbers, and I was like, wow, I published 25 videos last month. And I thought I didn't really hardly do anything. And in X number of hours, I earned X number of dollars. Wow, I kind of went over my basic goal. And, just like putting things in concrete terms, even my healing stuff, I 7 hyperbaric oxygen chamber treatments, or whatever. It shows me how I spent my time, and I spent my time really, really wisely. And it is tricky to get to that point, especially if you never learned how to do that in a structured environment like a job or college. And most of the folks I think of when who I'm saying I want to work with, are those folks who just, the figure it outers, who never went through those systems, so they really don't know how to structure themselves. So rather than them learn all of that dumb shit and then having to translate it for themselves, I've translated it and simplified it, like you wanted to simplify short little bite-sized things. And yeah, kind of removing those barriers of, I don't know how, and I'm afraid I will screw it up, and going instead of like, I know how, I'll show you how you can practice while I'm with you, so you won't screw it up because you have me as a resource and backup. You're not totally on your own. So
So great. Yay, good for you.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
That's
we
why,
all shouldn't have to reinvent the wheel.
oh, like you said, we each have something to offer. That's my thing. Your thing is your thing, and we need both, and we need what everybody else has to offer, and because it bolsters all of us. It's straight together we rise. But
Right.
we can't, we're to quit spending all this freaking energy putting ourselves in boxes, or
Right.
or trying to figure everything out alone. Yeah. Okay, so it's time to wrap up.
I feel complete.
Cool. Good. Good. One thing I want to reach out to me and let me know if you have not yet heard of the I can't remember what she's calling it. I think her name is Fern Allen. She has a school. It's basically people can offer classes for 6 weeks at the Den, I think. And yeah, anyway, it's a it's a cool thing that I obviously don't understand completely, but it might potentially be a vehicle for you.
Oh,
Um,
cool.
so yeah,
Yeah. Okay, I'll check in with her.
yeah,
Yeah, I've been given other opportunities too for places to teach, so
good. Yeah.
I'm excited.
She posted about it in the Fernhill dance group
Okay,
recently,
I'll look
and
there.
yeah, I think she's actively starting to like reach out to people because she reached out to me and we've never talked before. So I think she's
Hmm,
just kind of like,
okay.
yeah. So yeah, definitely reach out to her. It looks
All
really
right.
cool. Yeah.
All right, cool. I will.
All right. Well, thank you so much. This is
Thank
really,
you so much.
really lovely. Yeah, I would have preferred if I hadn't been so destabilized, but like I said, I know that everything happens as it happens. And so, yeah, thank you for being patient with that.
No problem. I love you.
Thank you. I love you too. Okay, well, have a lovely rest of your day.
Thank you. Same to you.